area and then go ahead and just go for it. But I think we're going to hop on board with Ninja's POV to kind of see what's going on throughout that match. Of course, that's going to be a close one. Now, guys, if you don't know the format of our tournaments, of course, we've only done 2 rounds, but these guys already in the semifinals are guaranteed $1,000, and whoever moves on to the finals will get a pay increase of a minimum of $3,000. First place, $5,000. Very impressive, but we're just going to be hopping in and out of matches, guys, of the semifinals, so you're going to get the best of both worlds for Kylixx and Rush, Prince Bruh, and Slick, and you're also going to be able to watch Nick A30 and Ninja going against Piyushx and Kylixx. It's going to be a good time.
I love hearing you say that.
Hey, I'm doing the best I can, Landon. You know that.
Piyushx.
Piyushx. Is it European? I don't know, But, hey, give that little accent going.
Oh, I just saw Piyushx. Yeah, he ends up falling. So that's very unfortunate to see off the start of this semifinal. When you're in the top 4, right, there's a lot of pressure that comes to it, especially when you're facing off against 2 talented players like this. However, as we speak on it, Ninja and Co. are rushing in toward Tilted Towers. We saw the Optic Gaming boys make a similar push, and it did not work out very well for them. And you hear a few of the call-outs coming through. Someone's near that tall tower in the center of the map, which means that high ground you never really truly have. So with that in mind, Ninja taking a few pop shots toward Nick A30's fight. They've got quite a few players in them right now, and it seems as if it could be Ninja who really needs to try to watch that top side. Needs to be very wary of that cover that he no longer has. Decides to take the engagement, and that trusty tack shotty will come out and will allow him to stay alive.
I'm surprised they pushed into Tilted so quickly. Typically, their rotation has been from Shifty to Greasy. But I guess they're going for all the marbles here.
Wow.
But, 10 health. Wow. No. You notice in his inventory, he has no minis. He doesn't have any bandages. He has to get this full elim. And unfortunately, that player's not going to drop any bandages either. So that's going to force him to play a little bit more passive than we're used to seeing him, as he's got to try and maintain and preserve his life. And then, of course, where is Nick A30? Well, he's going to be up above. He's going to be sitting okay, though, at about 125 health. Porter Rift in hand. That gives him the mobility to kind of dip out and potentially find some bandages. But for now, it is going to be pretty quiet. Chest down below. Hopefully, he'll be able to find some sort of hills.
Yeah, and you hear the frustration coming out, saying, I can't find any heals whatsoever. Thankfully, he does have the Rift to go in his inventory if he needs to use it, which would be nice. And you hear Nick A30 kind of giving the call out saying, hey, I don't know if we even want to, or even if we can push certain things. It looks like Ninja thankfully will find some minis off the ground and will move from it as Nick A30 decides to come through. I thought for a second that was about to be an opponent. I said Ninja is not looking good in this particular spot. But as we take a look at the unfortunate delayed stream right now from Nick, we can see how he was watching over his teammate Ninja throughout the entire time, being the guardian angel for Ninja throughout that last fight.
Definitely so. We've seen him pick up, or really both of them pick up each other. Good team. Still stuck inside of Tilted. And, oh, another. Actually, I believe that's the Porter Rift that Ninja dropped just a little bit ago. But let's go ahead and check out what's going on in the other game. Of course, we have the defending champions trying to keep themselves alive in this tournament. And no surprise, they're going to be just outside of Dusty here at Dusty Diner. 1 elimination in the hand of our man Kylixx. And, of course, that can only mean Rush probably has a couple himself, as they probably ran into at least one team. They're going to get the opportunity to get kitted up just a little bit, and I'm excited to see how they're going to perform. We know that Prince Bruh is a very solid player. Slick, we haven't been able to see him too much. Actually, I think this is the first time he's participated in the Legion Sunday Showdowns. But
I believe so, yeah.
But it's going to give him the opportunity to kind of debut how he is. And, yeah.
What a debut that was. Just an unfortunate landing spot on the rock. As running a vehicle into any rock, I would not suggest in any way, but it looks as if the tires may have deflated, so they're going to go on foot. Not really, obviously, but they're going to make their way toward Tomato Temple and at least kind of play that gatekeeping position, realizing exactly what could be going on at this spot. But as we swap back and forth from game to game, because of course these matches are very, very intense and incredibly close at the moment, we do spot Ninja trying to spot the feet of the opponents, and it looks as if it will be Nick A30 who will walk away with that particular fight. And we'll spot the loot, and yes, the 10 minis, thankfully. It looks as if they will be able to find some shield, some bits of mobility now with that tool. So obviously very low in HP was Nick A30, but now will no longer be that.
Ooh, dropping down. 12 health. This guy is fearless along with Ninja. It makes sense, right? 12 health and still dropping down to get the elimination. Phenomenal work on his part, and he's going to get rewarded with some minis as well as some bandages. Ninja pushing out himself to try to get that little overhang, spot some players down below towards Salty. He's sitting at 5 eliminations, and in fact, he's been averaging, how much would you say? Maybe like 10 eliminations per game? A little bit
close.
More, a little bit more than
sure.
that. Yeah, he's been doing fairly well. The first game he had, what, 16 eliminations around there? He was looking very solid, and he's doing good. Look at his ping, 96 ping, and still managed to rockets and perform considerably well, showing the versatility that he has. Good stuff coming from him, but they're going back to where they started off. They're going just on the outside of Shifty, and we might see them push right back into Tilted once again.
Yeah, with the storm surrounding it, that definitely could be the case.
But they're going to be, they're going to be at a disadvantage anyway next game, too.
And I just love the communication that we're seeing from Nick A30, just kind of giving word to his teammate Ninja, displaying and saying, hey, we need to play a little more passive. We need to be very careful of our situation. And for all 4 teams that we have left in the tournament, picking your fights and choosing which ones to engage on is the name of the game. But it seems as if Flick actually will be taken down, and that is a very unfortunate situation if you are a fan of Flick and Princebra. But that is only a positive for the defending champions of Dietrich and Rush, as they are continuing to find a ton of elims in Retail Row, which we talked about, Taylor. Retail Row, especially in these public match style tournaments, is a very unfortunate landing location for a lot of teams because they think they can make it there. They think they can handle the pressure of going to a location like that. However, it never really is the case. Thankfully for this team, they are seeing quite a bit of success, finding some eliminations, and continuing to move forward with it.
Just on the outside as you hear the communication happen, and maybe there's a player just up ahead, and we'll see if they'll be able to get that. I know, guys, we're jumping in and out of games. We're trying to keep the action fresh for you, as you're going to see who's going to be in the grand finals. This is really a big match for both teams. It's a $2,000 prize increase and also a chance to get your opportunity to call yourself champ, at least for this week, the 9th week. We'll see how this attack's going to go. Grappler out. Great shot to tag him up in the head. Good headshot. And we'll see if he'll be able to kind of push up. You notice all the shield is currently gone off of this player. Traps are out. Yep, got to be careful of that. And so go ahead and drop down. You know, that's kind of not necessarily an annoying thing, but one of the things that these players like to do is they'll drop down and take the low ground because they don't understand how to retake the high ground. So they'll drop down and kind of turtle themselves up. And you got to watch out for the sneaky traps to get put out. But I guess they're not going to be tripped up. As Princebra, unfortunately, he's going to go down himself. And now it's Rush and Dietrich to run through the lobby. And Landed, this is the team. They made grand finals last time. They won the tournament. We could see them in the next grand finals here in this tournament.
Yeah, that is a very difficult thing to make happen. And to be honest with you, I think after the 8 weeks that we've seen, I don't believe that we've ever seen a team win a tournament and then as much so to come back to the next one and make it to the grand finals, which is pretty crazy to think about. That might have happened maybe once, if my mind serves me right, but it doesn't happen very often. So for Rush and Dietrich, and the situation they are in this game, it looks very possible that they could be revisiting the grand finals yet again. But as we transfer back forward to the other match that we've got going on toward the bottom side of the brackets, on our screen, the blue-haired Halo machine, the Fortnite master himself, Mr. Ninja, seeking out players toward the northern side of Pleasant Park. Up to 5 eliminations, and that tack shotty.
It's powerful.
It has been his weapon throughout this tournament. Constantly using it in clutch situations and being able to respond with it. Nick A30, though, giving the call out, crying out, saying, I need some help, Ninja. I need you to support me in this situation because there are still players alive. As we see the Rust Lord officially falls. One player toward the top side. Looks like Ninja firing out that grenade launcher, trying to explode the builds, trying to get a little bit of that splash damage. Keeping in mind, there is a player just toward their 60 on top of a mountain. Many angles to watch, and Nick A30 and Ninja are just trying to hold on right now.
You notice his transitions. Unfortunately, he gets dropped. This is a big opportunity for Nick A30 to potentially pick up his teammate once again. We're going to see a little bit of a replay here. Of course, the delay just a little bit more. Smokes are going to be out. Ninja should be dropping relatively soon, and we'll see Nick A30 can come to the rescue. Great use of the compact SMG to bring him down. Player just down below him. He's going to go ahead and get the knock. He goes down to 67 health himself, editing out, or 47. Dropping this player in, looking for a little bit of mats or anything. There it is. So Ninja's going to drop, and Nick A30 asking, should I heal up or should I push? And Ninja giving him the go-ahead. Go ahead and heal up. One thing I wanted to point out with Ninja just a little bit before, his transitions were great. Saw him shooting out, shotgun, right? He gets a knock, immediately transitions to his grenade launcher to get a little bit of a defense, or at least extra credit to Nick A30, who was pushing the player just up ahead, brought down his builds, and then he transitioned to the player on top of the hill with the heavy assault rifle. Unfortunately, in that situation, he goes down, but look at this. One of the teammates from the other end is going to drop himself, and that's going to be Pusha getting dropped. Kylixx is going to be last up himself. Nick A30 coming to the rescue, though. Ninja, Nick A30, the duo's back, and they're going to continue on.
They will indeed. Potentially a flank coming through from
Beautiful.
Nick A30. Rocks the grappler and pretty much makes that player fall down to the side of the mountain, as now he is surrounded, trapped.
Ooh, Kylixx.
Between the shots of Ninja and Nick, and they will be able to drop him in very quick succession. Very smart strategy coming through, and very nice to have that extra grappler in his inventory after finding that player in a prior fight. But as we advance now, fights still going through, and Ninja yet again dropped. Yeah. And now it is up to Nick A30, the Canadian, needing to come through.
Oh, look at him.
And you can see the quick builds, trying to match it. Shots being exchanged, and he's still using those extra grappler shots that he's got in his inventory. One player from the opposing team happens to rock it, and Nick A30, can he stay alive? A big moment as Ninja watches on the edge of a cliff.
Yep, you notice, but he's still calling out, being a useful teammate.
Chilling.
That player's literally chilling. Nick A30, though, straight ahead of this player, dropping down. You see him get a shotgun shot, compact SMG out. That's going to get a knock. More players just up ahead. Nick A30 does have some decent health, but not a lot. And he'll continue on this fight. And of course, we'll transfer over to his perspective. We'll get to see what's happening. This is when the player had that high ground. You notice knocking off some shots. That player's currently white, only down to health. He's going to drop down, trying to tag him up just a little bit more. You notice frustrating, transferring over to the other player just up ahead, as he's going to manage to get him just low enough. This is the player that was standing still that we kind of caught the glimpse of from Ninja's perspective, and now we're going to finally see some fresh new content as he's going to be pushing up. Players.
He's got some great weapons as well.
He definitely does. He has some versatility. As you notice, yeah, Ninja just kind of walking him through, telling him to calm down one at a time. Don't get wrapped up. Don't worry about Ninja, who's currently down. He knows at this point there's only a total of 3 engagements still remaining, or 4.
Oh, catches the wizard, but unfortunately will be taken down by a unit of them. And now we can only sit at bay as Kylixx will have the rest of the game to roam by his lonesome. And he knows at least where 2 players are. Oh, he does a nice little 360 in the air style points. Oh, does he land it? Who knows at this point, to be honest with you. Took a little bit of damage toward the end of that, but we can look on and see what he can try to provide in this situation right now for Kylixx. He was at 8 elims. And it looks like he might have spotted. Okay, this player is just. Oh, there's 2 of them just not paying attention whatsoever. Takes down 2 in very rapid pace. And you see the smile, the cringe on Nick A30's face saying, how did we not spot these players? How are they not in our line sight? And I believe the Wizards have now been spotted. And we'll see what Kylixx can try to provide here in this situation. The spotlight is on him.
Kylixx, all eyes on him, more eyes than he's probably had on him yet. So big moments, kind of got to keep your composure. Drops down below this player, easy eliminations as he lights up the kill feed once again and gets the victory royale. Kylixx, 12 eliminations to his name, not too bad, and 15 total for Ninja and Nick. So I believe there's a little bit of an advantage for our boys of Pushing and Kylixx. They're looking pretty solid. Qualifier teams once again coming in and coming in big.
Absolutely, man. And they are definitely kind of arriving when exactly we need them to. So along with that, I can't ignore the nice little Grubhub timer just over there. I'm very excited.
It's on its way.
I am very excited. I need to eat something before this final starts up.
We get the energy.
I need to get the
all the energy.
What was it? The lemonade you ordered me? What was that?
Spike lemonade.
The spiked lemonade. I'm excited.
Has Mountain Dew and lemonade together.
I've never tried it before, but I'm stoked.
You know, it sounds good because it is good.
I got to ask you, did you use the code FOODFIGHT?
Oh, you already know we did.
Okay,
come on,
thank
come
God.
on.
I just
What-
need to make
you
sure.
think- you
I
think-
just need to make
you
sure.
think I'm going to go in?
We have the code
pay
for
full
a
price
reason.
when I can get a discount
We have
using
the code
Food
for a
Fight?
reason.
Come on.
We have the code for a reason. Let's make sure. Let's
Hey,
make sure that
gotta
we're getting all the
gotta use-
discounts.
Gotta
that
use
we
code
have.
Food Fight.
By the
Gotta
way,
use
let's
code
take a look. As things are popping up on screen, I can't really keep up. But it looks
15,
like it is going to be 15-13 advantage for Nick A30 and Ninja moving forward into this next match. But like I said, it's only 2 players. I think the strategies will continue on the exact same way. I think we'll see Nick and Ninja continue to kind of make their way toward, I think, what's kind of been their strategy that the rest of this game?
Shifty.
Passive,
Yeah,
going
yeah.
to shifty shafts. So I think that probably continues on for them. They've seen success up to this point. I don't think there's any reason to change.
Yeah, no reason to change it to this point. I wish I would have caught what Nick A30 was saying, because he was like thinking, okay, he was coming up with some sort of strategy. All right, we definitely got to land here. Ninja was in agreement with that. So I'm curious where they're going to be going. 2 eliminations up. I mean, we've already seen what Kylixx and Pushing can do. So with that being said, we know they can get some high eliminations. You can only imagine if Pushing wouldn't have dropped early on, Kylixx would have had his teammate up, and that could have been even more eliminations. So it definitely could have been beneficial. But here we are. Drop in, it looks like Shifty. Yep, going to the houses for Ninja. Nick A30. Actually, Ninja, he's just going to go straight into the shafts and trying to listen out to the next rotation.
I'm probably trying to be very aware of what the opposing team is trying to do as well. Because like we talked about, only a 2 elim difference. Not much at all.
Oh, they all landed Shifty.
And yeah, it looks as if maybe the outskirts house of Shifty Shafts is where we are going to see Kylixx and Piyushx. I'm still yet to figure out exactly how you pronounce the name. I'm just going to go and rock with it. I think it's fine. But still, though, a lot of pressure on these boys to see what they can try to provide. And a lot of pressure as well on Ninja Nick A30, right? The fact that Nick A30 yet to be in the grand finals, yet to get past that top 8 position. The first Sunday Showdown for Ninja as well. But if we know anything about great players, it's when they thrive under pressure. How do they perform when that pressure is applied? With having somewhat of an advantage, that can settle the score a little bit. But nice loot found here inside of the shafts. And well, he's kind of not the greatest kitted up. But he's going to find that blue assault rifle. He's got the
looking pretty good to me.
Yeah, the Epic Compact SMG. He's looking pretty good right now.
Yeah, he's looking pretty solid. Let's go ahead and check it on the other match that's going on. This is still not game number 1. Wow. So this game has been quite a long game. Dietrich and Rush. Dietrich last alive. See, this is what I was talking about, the final. So now you have these teams that are going to be using these turrets, and they're just going to be spraying bullets. Dietrich, for him to get out of this situation, is going to be tough. He's going to be kind of, just chilling out in this little 1-by-1, healing up a little bit. I don't blame him, but grenades are coming in. He also has a turret blasting at him. If he gets out of this, I'm going to be severely impressed. But it's going to look like
Dietrich.
he might. Yeah. So this is the and this is the thing about those turrets. It's just a suppression while the team is just constantly pushing up. Add in grenades with that, and that's tough. But an 18 elimination game to the 5, and that's only game number 1. They're going into the next one with a 13 elimination lead. That is a solid start for them, and now already back on board. Keeping you involved with the action, guys. Ninja, Nick A30, Kylixx, and Pusha. We knew coming into this first round, the score was a total of 15-13. Ninja, Nick A30 leading the way, but just a little bit, only 2 eliminations. They all land together, which can only mean one thing. That's a victory royale, and we're going to come down to the final few eliminations.
Definitely the case. And if you guys are wondering, as we see a full team of 4, technically a team when it comes down to Fortnite, but not in this particular format, entering toward Tilted Towers. Who is Kylixx? Who is Piyushx? Who are these particular players? Well, they are a qualifier team. You might be asking yourself if you're new to the stream, new to the tournament. What do these qualifier teams entail? What is exactly the definition of that? If you guys are interested in wanting to be a qualifier team, essentially we have 2 different tournaments that happen every single week. We take the top 2 from those 2 tournaments, which would be 4 in total. Then we add into these tournaments, which fight for $10,000. This is week 9, Taylor.
Yep.
After this tournament ends, as it looks like the quad launcher actually gets tossed out. Nice plays from Ninja. We have given away, after this week, $90,000. Crazy stuff to see. And it costed all of these players nothing to get involved. That's all.
We're paying them.
We are. Because we love watching them play. Because we can't do it ourselves. That's for sure.
Why you gotta do low-key roast on us, man?
I'm sorry. I just got to give credit where it's due because I could not pull off some of the things that I've been seeing tonight. Like in certain situations, like I think it was Dietrich who was having basically 86, I think it was 86 turrets fire at him inside.
Roughly. 84, I think it was.
84 or 84 or so. Kind of like different turrets firing at him, and he was able to stay alive for like, what, 15 to 20 seconds? I would have died instantly.
Yeah.
So you got to give credit where it's due. And speaking of centuries, if Ninja can take this build for his own, he can rock out the
quad
launcher,
yeah.
and potentially spot someone.
Oh,
Keep
players down. Kylixx.
Kylixx has been dropped inside of Tilted. It looks as if, though, he will not have any issues with being rezzed. Ninja able to rock one and will be able to fire back with the shotty. Beautiful stuff and trying to, oh my gosh.
Mind you,
this is so important because literally the opposing team is right next to him rezzing.
Mind you, this whole time that Ninja's been fighting, he has not taken a single point of damage. Not a single point. He is still sitting at a full 100 shield, 100 health. That is impressive. He went through a turret. Yeah. He went through a quad launcher being directly aimed at him. He went through all of these things and didn't get touched once, showing the ability that this man has. But Kylixx, more importantly, is in fact going to get picked up, and we're going to resume the normal program as intended to be, as it's going to be yet still a close game. I know there's still Ninja Nikki 30 do have a minor lead as far as I know, but only minor. So it can still go any which way between these teams. Rotating out towards Leaky. This point, push at Kylixx, they still going to stay with Ninja Nikki 30? Well, for the time being, it seems as though they're going to be. Maybe some distance would, in fact, help them.
Yeah.
But I'd love to see this kind of style. I love the teams fighting for these eliminations and them being literally neck and neck.
And I think this is a great strategy that we're seeing from the qualifier team bring out as well, is that we talk about the rotations from Ninja and Nick have been phenomenal so far throughout this tournament. Their ability to visit different locations to pretty much get out of certain spots unscathed. That's very admirable, and I think for a lot of these teams, especially obviously in this situation, the opposing one, realizing and saying, hey, these guys have been looking so good at rotations, let's just see exactly what they do and make sure this is at least competitive moving forward. Because if you try to split off, you're obviously competing against one of the teams who probably has the best rotations in the game. You also have to take into consideration the experience that these particular players have and knowing how the format works and knowing how these particular things play off against. So that's something that I think is kind of a respect play coming in from the qualifier team and kind of recognizing and saying, hey, these guys are very talented at this. Let's, like I said, at the very least, keep it competitive and have the opportunity to spot the exact same faces, the exact same elims that the other team has as well, and Ninja and Nick. But to me, the big difference is when it comes down to these particular four players is who is going to be able to spot some of those mobility items, right? Who can find
it's the big thing,
yeah, exactly. Who can find the rift to goes,
the
who
balloons,
can find, the balloons, etc. Because that's the way that you can distance yourself in certain fights. That's the way, if you have a grappler, you can get to the action first. And so I think finding those items is very, very important and something that we need to be looking out for in the inventories.
100%. Dusty Divot, one of the areas that we've seen the main transfer points, as they'll be heading over there as they just keep discussing, like, where are these players? What should we do? Constant communication, so incredibly important, regardless of what's going on. You always want to communicate, if anything, over-communicate, because you never know if your partner's on board with you. And I do believe, there's going to be some players just up ahead, one on a quad crasher.
And Ninja has the grappler.
Ninja does have the grappler. Those mobility items that we were talking about, not only can it give you above the builds, it can also push you forward. And Nicky 30 is going to have the advantage over to the left. So does he shoot at the players up ahead? Well, it looks like he's going to, instead of worrying about the players down to his left. So unless that was just a quad crasher being ditched. But Ninja's perspective could be quite interesting as he's pushing forward. Nick is going to be just on the back. We'll see how this is going to work out.
Yeah, and we talk about the roles, right? Ninja the aggressor. In some ways, Nick A30 being the support, tossing out the quad launcher, trying to do a little bit of that excess damage. Player puts out the builds. However, it's not going to work out in any way. And in the process, Kylixx ends up getting taken down. Will he be thirsted? Where is that player lingering? I believe the entire squad will be taken down. If not, there is one more remaining player just toward their south side, behind the hut. As his builds will fall, Nick A30, the first one to aggress, misses the first shot, has the opportunity to go for another. Hammering through the builds and has his opportunity. Will he seize it? And yes, he will find the player. It will be a down. So there is going to be more enemies around this position. Still more players around this area. But phenomenal stuff from Ninja and Nick, involving themselves in the elims early and having first say at who gets that initial damage.
Surprised Kylixx was able to get back up. Players shooting grenade launchers. Oh, the turret's going to be out, and actually he's not going to use it. May even give that turret over towards Ninja as Nick-A30 is pushing forward. Ninja's perspective just a little bit ahead. He's maintained, or at least able to take over Grandma's house on the outside of Salty Springs, and he'll go ahead and push back just a little bit, trying to spot more players. He's at 5 eliminations himself, and the score is relatively close and could go either way.
Yeah.
So this is a big moment for our qualifiers of Kylixx and Piyushx. If they manage to win this game and move to the finals, man, I mean, we could potentially see a qualifier and ex-qualifier team facing off once again in the finals, which has happened before.
Yeah.
But one thing that Ninja has been doing very well throughout this game is getting distance throughout his team. Even though they're all relatively together, he's been rotating and trying to find as many players as he possibly can, getting that high ground with the Shadow Stone, and already calling out some more players as he's going to be pushing to the circle.
But they're always making the right decisions.
100%. It's the knowledge. I mean, it's that experience, that veteranship that comes through, right? Competing in Friday Fortnights and competing in tournaments of this caliber, the style throughout their career, they just know where to rotate. They know, plus it's public play after all, right? So they know the rotations. They know where the players are lingering.
But it looks as if we do see the opposing team, Kylixx and Co., rock out the quad crasher and have spotted an opponent. And Ninja, I believe, does get a shot off. It does not land for an elim. Tries to take the shot. It looks as if we do see Piyushx go down. And now Kylixx rather, excuse me, had his back against the wall and will thankfully survive that fight. But that is 3 unanswered elims coming through from the opposing team. That's a huge moment from them, and unfortunately for Ninja and Nick, they were in that area just a few seconds earlier. If Ninja would have just waited a little bit longer, he would have had the opportunity to spot those players. However, in the meantime, we do see Nick-A30 in a fight as well, as we do see Ninja on the quad crasher valiantly making his way to join alongside his comrade. Nick-A30 ends up following, calls out an opposing player sitting inside of a tree, and Ninja looking for his opportunity, takes a few shots down, and thankfully is going to try to rely on these 1v1 fights. That's the way he can take this game. Takes down one and realizes Nick is just toward his side. Nick doing the quick math in his head, trying to decide exactly how close of a game this is. And thankfully for Ninja, has a little bit of a time to pause. And just as he does, we do see the quad crasher from the opposing team make their way forward. As I guess all the players did end up falling. I thought for a minute there that wasn't the case. They need to
he's got to get there. I don't think he's going to have enough time. It looked like it's going to disappear, but he just gets it in the nick of time, and he's going to split off from Nick-A30. Go ahead and get some distance. I don't know if Nick,
he did.
Yeah, he did make it. Man, I got to tell you, hey, he's soaring through the air, and there it is. The call-out's coming. And Kylixx and Piyushx actually just missed some players. Nick-A30 doing a phenomenal job just kind of being the Hawkeye, really spotting these players out there as they're going to split off, and Ninja's going to land just behind one of them. Kylixx is going to get a knock himself. You notice in the kill feed. But this player's going to use a rift to go of his own. Ninja not going to waste any time. He's going to drop down.
And Kylixx just
right
found
next
2.
To this player. It's going to be a close one coming down to the very few last eliminations. This player's going to dip out. Can he connect enough? Yes, he does. And already back to the engagements of these players straight ahead inside the builds. Nick-A30 is going to take it. You notice Ninja saying they're getting Kylixx push it. They're getting lucky, and they are. They're finding the eliminations. They're finding the last remaining people.
Nick-A30 giving the call-outs, saying they're right over here. I have them directly in my line sight. Kylixx and Co. coming down to the wire. Ninja at the same time. Thankfully lands the compact SMG shots just toward the side of Fatal Fields. Not many players left. In fact, there's only 3.
Oh, Piyushx gets another knock.
Gets another knock. Thankfully, it's going to be found. At the same time, though, like we mentioned, Piyushx ends up taking down one as well. Back and forth we go, as we'll see how this game can come down to the wire, adding it up in their heads. Ninja and Co., I believe, have the advantage when it comes down to this game. So still a few more elims probably needed from the qualifier squad. And can they come through huge when it matters the most?
I believe that was 13 for the opposing team. Ninja and Nick-A30 need to start getting to work. It's a 2-elimination lead. Oh, but watch out. Ninja's going to drop. And no, that's going to be Kylixx who's going to get the last elimination. And I'm going to kind of get word. I do believe Kylixx and Pushin may have taken that based upon the
Yeah,
reaction,
I
but
think
I'm
so.
curious to know what's going to happen. Is Ninja and Nick 830 going to move forward? But it came down to, I believe, just one elimination between the two. As our producer, he's going to go ahead and add up the scores.
Everyone, get your Casios out. Start punching in the digits on your calculator, because I think we just saw the qualifier team upset Nick 830
And the
and
semis.